Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's episode, which is NeNe Leakes being slapped with a $25,000 judgment against her for allegedly blowing off unpaid rent, she's blaming her dead husband, and it's not pretty. So before we dive in, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. So these exclusive details are courtesy of Radar Online. It says Real Housewives of Atlanta star NeNe Leakes was hit with a five-figure judgment after she failed to respond to her former landlord's lawsuit. According to court documents obtained by RadarOnline.com, the company MPG Sugarloaf LCC, I've never heard of an LCC. I've only ever heard of an LCC. Sorry, you guys. Who Leakes leased property from of her now closed swag boutique was awarded $25,000. Well, $25,631 to be exact. Now, this is the thing, for her to not respond to the lawsuit is where I think her downfall is, right? So you're NeNe. I'm guessing you have money for lawyers. I'm assuming you have a legal team. You had a legal team when you sued Bravo and NBC and Andy Cohen. Maybe you got a new legal team since that lawsuit ultimately got dismissed without prejudice and you didn't refile it. So I don't know what's going on there. But to not respond to a lawsuit, you're basically asking the court to make a judgment against you. If you have a valid reason why, because again, just because you're being sued does not make you guilty. People sue people every single day who are not guilty, and people sue other people and don't win, even though they should win. Unfortunately, our legal system is flawed. It's not perfect. So just because you're being sued doesn't mean you're guilty. And just because you don't win your lawsuit doesn't mean that you shouldn't have won it. You know what I mean? But to not respond, it's just, I don't know, like beyond irresponsible. You need to respond to a lawsuit to get out of it. But let's keep going with more details. In the lawsuit, the landlord claimed that the Bravo star signed a lease in 2017 and then extended it by a year in 2021. NeNe vacated the property in January of 2022, but allegedly refused to pay up on the $22,000 owed in rent. Ooh, that's a lot of money. But in court documents, the landlord claimed it unsuccessfully attempted to collect the money with Leakes before bringing the lawsuit. So basically, they're saying, listen, we exhausted everything we could prior to making this a legal thing, and she didn't pay. As previously reported, NeNe was served with legal paperwork while outside of her $1 million Atlanta condo. Now, again, just because you're living in a multi-million-dollar place doesn't mean you have a lot of money, but it's not a good look when you're not paying your bills. The process server personally served Leakes at the property on August 16th of 2023. Days after the lawsuit was filed, NeNe told the Jasmine brand the debt wasn't her responsibility. She claimed that her late husband Greg signed the lease, not me. She added, "He ain't here." I mean, you never know how people grieve or what the situation is, but I just can't imagine saying "he ain't here" regarding your husband who passed away from cancer. The phrasing just isn't right. I'm going to give NeNe the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully her tone was different, but just saying "he ain't here" in general when your late husband passed away from cancer just seems a little insensitive to me. Whether they were still, quote, romantic or not, I don't think that they really were. I know that they had reconciled, but I think it was clear that, she was kind of doing her, he was kind of doing him. Still, like, "he ain't here." That's a little callous if you ask me. And also, I think she should probably brush up on, the laws in Georgia and a lot of states where even though it is your partner's or your spouse's debt, if you are legally married to them, even in death, you still are accountable for those debts, which is why the judge, in my opinion, awarded the landlord that $25,000 judgment against her, because she may not have signed the lease, but if she was occupying it, if Greg signed it under their company that she's a part of, his debt becomes her debt. So that's really sad. NeNe's husband died on September 1st at the age of 66, which is still very young after a long battle with cancer, as we know. The judge ordered NeNe to pay the $22 in unpaid rent and then $2,315 in attorney fees and another in $400 in court fees. As we first reported in February, NeNe was hit with another default judgment in a separate lawsuit. The reality star was ordered to pay $1,000 to a company called Photography by Ace LLC. See, that's what I was saying. I've only heard of LLCs, not LCCs. Maybe that was a typo. The suit claimed NeNe used a photographer to take photos at her now closed club but refused to pay up on invoices. NeNe didn't bother responding to the case, so she has a history of this. She's being sued left and right, and she's not responding to the cases. Now, I'm not speaking this into existence because I know words are very powerful. Hypothetically, whether I am guilty or not guilty, if I get slapped with a lawsuit, I'm going to respond to it, because then that at least sets you up to have it dismissed or have it settled or, whatever the case may be. But to not respond to it, it's not just disrespectful to the person who is suing you, it's disrespectful to the legal system. And when judges feel disrespected, they will abuse their power against you. When lawyers and police and the feds and whoever it is, these people, when their ego gets bruised or when they feel like you're not, respecting the seat they hold or their title, they will abuse their power to get you back. So when you don't respond to things, you're not just thumbing your nose to that person, you're thumbing your nose to the system. And when you thumb the nose to the system, they thumb right back. So by not responding to lawsuits, she's basically setting herself up. I don't know if she plans to file for bankruptcy. And so that's why she doesn't care about not responding. But if they have the judgments, they can do liens on her homes, on her cars, on any paycheck she's getting, if she's working right now. So this is a big deal. And it's really scary. But if she's going to do bankruptcy, then sort of like a PK where it's like, well, I don't really care if you do judgments against me because I'm going to file for bankruptcy and get them cleared out anyway. Maybe that's what she's going to do, but that goes on your credit report and that's a whole nother nightmare. But if you're already doing fraudulent stuff, maybe they don't care. As first reported, on top of her legal issues, NeNe's oldest son, Bryson Bryant, was recently released from jail after being arrested for possession of fentanyl. Bryant's July arrest triggered a probation violation in a separate criminal case, which resulted in being thrown behind bars for months. During his initial arrest, Bryson told the officers he was the younger brother of Brent Leaks, which led him to being hit with an additional charge for providing a false name to an officer. Oh, sorry. He said that he was his younger brother, Brent. As we know, Brent had a lot of medical issues, not legal issues. I think he had like a stroke or something, which is crazy. Yikes. So as we know, our girl NeNe is going through it. She just got a $25,000 judgment against her. She has another $1,000 outstanding lawsuit that she has to respond to. Her son, Bryson Bryant, just got out of jail. Her other son, Brent, I think had like a stroke or something, but I believe he's on the mend. And yeah, but they're saying it's not all bad news for NeNe, as Roa fans are pushing for the reality star icon to return to the franchise after a rough couple of seasons. Now, this might be an unpopular opinion because I know a lot of people want her back. I personally could do without her coming back. That's just me. But not against NeNe personally, because I just in general want fresh faces. Like I don't want the same people to come back to the OC. I don't want the same people to come back to Beverly Hills. I don't want the same people to come back to Roa or to whatever. I want fresh faces. I want fresh stories, new people, new relationships, new friendships. I just want freshness. I want newness, but I want it to be fresh. I want fresh faces. I think that's what we really need. We don't need more scandals. We don't need more violence. We don't need more OGs. We need freshness. So it's not against NeNe personally. I just in general want a refresh. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about NeNe and all of her legal and financial and family troubles? What do you think about her doing her sit down with Bethenny Frankel and then basically scrubbing all of her social media on it because she got refollowed by Bravo? So she definitely jumped ship very, very quickly. Maybe she needs the money, and I'm not knocking that. That's no shade to that. I think if you need the money, you do what you gotta do to get your money. I understand that. So I'm not knocking that, but that might be a reason why she was so quick to flip on Bethenny, because she's like, listen, Bethenny, you're not paying me for this, but if I can get back on Bravo and get those checks, I'm going to go back on Bravo and get those checks, even though I'm claiming they are racist and horrible, toxic. I'm going to go get my check. So it is what it is. But put your opinion down below. And as always, all opinions are welcomed. All comments are welcomed. Whether you agree or disagree, it's fine. Everybody is welcomed here. So put your comments down below, and I will talk to you guys next time. And be sure to like, subscribe, and share.